All right, to a big-time Pac-12 matchup, USC at Utah. Utah was a lot of people's favorite preseason to win this conference. Obviously, they lost the heartbreaker to Florida early. Last week, I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. The loss to UCLA. Now they get a bounce-back spot at home against the most talented team in that conference. Is that fair to say about USC? Clint, what do you think?
Who the most talented? I think UCLA will give them a run for their money, but I do think to your point, yeah. I mean, if I was a betting man right now, I'd put a good chunk on USC being the most talented team in that if they're healthy, the most talented team in that conference. Yeah. In the ball game, are we talking a ball game, or are you just talking about SC and being the most talented?
I would say in the conference, right? But
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me because you've still got UCLA lurking, but also just specific to this game against a Utah team with 2 losses at this point. USC is 3-point underdogs. Like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think I was high on Utah at one point. I thought the culture, the veteran laden team, the blue collar mentality, all that jive. I thought that would give them a chance in the Pac-12 to make a run after they lost to Florida week 1. But when you bump up against, last week obviously they lost the ball game. That one's going to hurt. That's going to take a little wind out of their sails. But when you bump up against a team like SC, you can throw that culture and you can throw all that shit out the window. If you can't score points, if you're not explosive, and I know Cam Rice, he's a good player. He's a good player. I get it. But another one of those try-hard guys that makes it look a lot more difficult than the Caleb Williams of the world do. And I just don't think Utah can play with SC from a scoring perspective. I think this is a USC win, and I think it's convincing.
Heck, agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think I talked about it. I don't think SC's really had to pull much out of their bag of tricks yet up until this point this year. I think that this Utah defense can force them to dig a little bit deeper than anybody else into that proverbial bag of tricks offensively. But, ultimately, I think if it comes down to a shootout, it's going to be tough to keep up with the Trojans and all the horsepower they have. As much as I like Utah and I for everything that Clint mentioned as well, I like the mentality. I like the hard nose kind of, like George said, like not to be cliche, because sometimes I can't stand the cliches, but the biker gang type mentality that Utah brings, they do bring it. And I like that, but, and it's something I vibe with, but I think SC at the end of the day has too much.
Have we seen USC really get thrown into like a battle yet, though? Like, I guess that would be my fear of this game, is if Utah truly is that toughness team, even if they aren't the best and they haven't had the results that back it up.
My thing is, you can't be right though with SC. Defensively, you can't be right. You load the box, you're playing one-on-one with guys who can win one-on-one all day long, and you got a kid who can throw it one-on-one all day long. If you play coverage, they got guys up front. If you give them a light box, 5 box, they're gonna if you get and try to add extra hats, they're gonna play with those extra hats in the horizontal passing game pre-snap. You could throw the bubble outside, or you keep him in there, so you're gonna play games with those guys all day long. They're gonna stretch the field out. Like, you can't be right with them. And then it's not even including Caleb Williams in the running game as well. So it's just a bitch.
To your point, Wad, I do think that moving forward, USC's most difficult opponents are ahead of them. You're looking at Utah, you're looking at UCLA, and even Notre Dame. I know they're not who we thought they were, but that's still a hard-nosed defense, right? I don't know that they've ran up against squads like Utah, UCLA, and Notre Dame in that first stretch of 6 ball games. Washington State's a good football team. Arizona State, Oregon State, Fresno State, Stanford, Rice. They hadn't seen anybody like Utah, and they hadn't seen anybody like UCLA or Notre Dame. So I think they got their work cut out for them moving forward. I think they'll handle it, for the record, but they got their work cut out moving forward.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite games of the weekend, just specifically to see them in that environment, right? I'm excited to see Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison be underdogs in a game. I have picked against this team about 3 times this season. I haven't trusted that they have much more than that talent. I thought they'd get in a battle when no one saw it coming. I thought they'd end up making some mistakes. They haven't yet, to their credit. So this is one where I feel like I'm going to be able to fully jump onto the USC bandwagon if they can get through this test.